you're not tired, you're unaligned. Too many times we believe that we're tired or exhaustion comes from just working a lot or doing a lot of things. But truly, it comes from doing things that don't resonate with our spirit, that don't light us up, that don't excite us, that don't really match our values and morals and the things that we believe are our purpose in life. Because if you look at somebody who loves what they do, they'll work 12, 14, 15, 16 hours a day, and they'll never feel a true burnout. It's when you're working towards something that you don't feel like it's you, aka you're misaligned, you're unaligned. And that's where exhaustion really creeps in. Burnout isn't from doing, like I said, it's not from just working. It's from doing things that you don't feel like make a difference or don't fit who you are on the inside. And that's what alignment truly is. So if you start heading in the right direction, you start working on things that matter to you, that are purposeful to you, that resonate with your spirit, that make you feel alive, that make you light up in your spirit and all these things, then you'll never feel burned out. You'll put in 18-hour shifts. You'll put in a 20-hour shift. You'll work on it for years, decades, because you know that there's something at the end of the tunnel for you. You know that it has a purpose. Even if you fail, even if you never get it launched or you never make it come to fruition, or you're never a CEO of said company or something like that, whatever the endeavor is, whatever the business is, whatever the meaningful thing is, you will basically, you'll work even if you feel like you won't make it all the way through. You feel like you failed because it was something that meant something to you, was purposeful to you. So it doesn't matter, if you truly succeeded or not, because that's relative to what the goal is or what your mindset is around things. But too many people, they work and do things that they hate. They hate their job, or they hate the work they're doing, or they're not really pushed, they're not really challenged, they're not really inspired by the work that they do. So obviously you're going to feel burned out. You're going to feel like you're not listened to. Same thing with relationships. Maybe that relationship's not for you. Maybe you're not tired of that person. You're not tired of the relationship. You're just unaligned. You guys aren't equally yoked. You guys don't have the same mission, purpose, cause in life going forward. You both make a living apart versus making a life together, making a living together. You're unaligned. That's what that truly means, from my belief. But yeah, you need to see, what are your values? What are your morals? What is your mission, cause, purpose? What do you think your calling in life is? And it doesn't have to be this grand thing. Like I said, it could be a high school football coach. You can still inspire and impact people that way. It could be a teacher. It could be a nurse. It could still be those traditional careers. It doesn't have to be a business owner. It doesn't have to be a CEO. It doesn't have to be finding the cure to cancer. It doesn't have to be creating the next, YouTube, the next iPhone. It doesn't have to be these grand things. People think that. No, it just has to be something that makes people's lives better or impacts a person, and it makes you happy. It makes you feel fulfilled on the inside. That's all it comes down to, is literally basic. But here's the thing. A lot of people are working at companies and corporations that is that fulfillment for somebody else, and they're not finding the fulfillment on the inside. And like I said, you could be a forklift driver and find the fulfillment, because it can be at your work, or it can be what you do outside of your work. Like I said, it can be coaching the youth after work hours. It can be your position in a church on Sundays. It can be other mission works that you do outside of your job. It can be anything. It can be a side business of YouTube, or side business selling online products. It can be anything, as long as it is improving or helping people or impacting or inspiring people, another person. That's why I think a calling or a purpose is. I feel like you can still have a career. You can have a great career. You can have $1 million salary in a career, but you might not be impacting the people you think you are. But maybe you are still impacting your employees. Maybe you're impacting the customer, because whatever your company main product or service is, it really does help people. So there's multiple ways to get to this end destination, but the end destination needs to fulfill you, and it needs to have some impact on your community or a certain person, even if it's one person. That's the thing. It doesn't have to be millions of people. You don't have to have 1 million followers, 1 million people watching your videos or anything like that. It could be one person. It could be a family member. That's how simple it can be. But we overthink these things, and we go and do these things that are not they're not a calling. They're not resonating with our spirit. So I don't know. I got a lot of thoughts on it, but just find out what that thing is that will fulfill you, that you love. What would you do day in and day out, even if you didn't get paid? You didn't get paid for it. And then figure out how to make that a career, or how to monetize it, or how to get funding for it, whether it's a for-profit business or non-profit business, or some kind of crowdfunding to do some kind of event. Figure that out. Some other things is, what do you think would make the 7-year-old version of you happy, and then the 70-year-old version of you happy? Like, try to put yourself in those types of mindsets. Like, what would the 7-year-old be like? Man, if I'm doing that is that age, I'd be proud. And then when you're 70, looking back, like, oh, I did it. I made it happen. And figure out how to formulate that. So I'm kind of rambling on, but you're not tired. You're not exhausted. You're just unaligned. So find out how to get back in alignment. Find out how to go find your calling, mission, purpose. And you won't be as tired. You won't be as burned out. You won't be as exhausted. So this was Consistency Day 227. I hope you got something from this message. I hope it made you think different, challenged you, or inspired you. And if it did, I encourage you to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and follow along for more. But other than that, I wish you all peace and blessings on the journey.